Let's start with the latest in India. Vande Mataram, India's national song, has fueled fresh BJP-Congress clash. BJP President Nitin Nabin has slammed Congress over its decision to sing only 2 stanzas of the national song at party events. In a post on X, Nabin said that the opposition party has become a new Muslim league. Congress Working Committee on Wednesday made the decision, citing a 1937 resolution to back its stand. It argued that the leading lights of the freedom movement, including Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore, had backed limiting the public rendition of Vande Mataram to its first 2 stanzas. In a veiled reference to a row over singing of the full version of Vande Mataram during the Independence Day event at the Congress office, the BJP president said the party was formalizing what it described as insult into a resolution. The BJP president called the move a contempt for the thousands of martyrs who he said sacrificed their lives for the nation, keeping the national song alive in their consciousness. He further called it proof of the hunger for that vote bank at the altar of which he said the Congress has repeatedly mortgaged the nation's self-respect. The row over Vande Mataram erupted on August 15th, when Sonia Gandhi was seen making gestures when the full national song was being sung at the party headquarters. The BJP claimed that she was objecting to the full version being sung, but the Congress denied it. The government in February made it compulsory to sing full Vande Mataram at public gatherings and official events and passed a bill in Parliament to make it a criminal offence to disrupt or prevent the singing of the national song. And now to discuss this issue further, we are being joined by senior journalist Shekhar Iyer from New Delhi. Mr. Iyer, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast today. I would like to understand what is your first take on this issue. What is the sense that you are making of this row brewing between the BJP and Congress over singing of the national song?
Thank you, Kanishka. What we are seeing now is it's getting full-blown now. It started with the event in the AICC headquarters on the occasion of the Independence Day. And subsequently now what has happened is, just before we went on air, Home Minister Amit Shah has given a statement saying, in fact, criticizing the Congress Working Committee's decision yesterday to stand by its practice, which it says began from the 1937 resolution of the CWC, which decided to stick to those part of the stanzas which are not objected to by the Muslim leaders of that time. Now, Home Minister has made it a point to say that this is actually partitioning the song, which ultimately led to the partitioning of India. So what we can see is, with elections due in Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, this is going to be one of the major issues for the BJP in order to douse fire that could come from the Congress on the issues of Ram Temple, as well as the Gen Z protest and exam. So we are going to see, an escalation of charges by both sides, Kanishka.
Okay. So you've said we could see escalation of charges. But Mr. Iyer, I would like to understand, how are you reading the justification that both parties have offered for their stances? Congress says freedom movement leaders, including Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore, they had backed limiting the public rendition of Vande Mataram to just 2 stanzas. BJP, meanwhile, calls it a contempt for the thousands of martyrs who sacrificed their lives for the freedom. So how are you reading these justifications that have come from both the sides?
Well, the Congress leadership is, trying to say, look, this has been the practice. Whereas the BJP is trying to show that the original decision of the Congress, of the then Congress, was itself to appease to those sentiments at that time, that is the run-up to our independence in 1947. And those sentiments finally resulted in Muslim League giving a call for a separate Pakistan, or the bifurcation or partition of our country. So, on the other hand, the BJP says, look, we were committed, and for the first time from the ramparts of the Red Fort, we heard the Prime Minister speak about Vande Mataram. The Vande Mataram was rendered in full. This is the first time that has happened, and a law has been passed which says that this has to be given equal respect as the national anthem, which is our Janagana Mana. So for the BJP, this is an ideological issue which they have pursued for a long time. And finally it has happened. And the BJP, as I mentioned earlier, sees it as an issue on which not only the Congress, even other opposition parties like the Samajwadi Party would be on the defensive to say that, look, the rest of the stanza is could be polarizing. But the BJP's question, I think, which could get traction among its traditional voters, which is how can you divide a beautiful song and paying respects to our country, describing it as the Mother India, and then say that one part is okay, the rest part is not okay. So that is why, Home Minister's statement just a few minutes ago, that aapne pehle, you divided the song, pehle gaana ko tukda kiya, abhi phir desh ko kiya. That ultimately led to the sentiments which helped Muslim League in the undivided India to press for the partition of our country. So I think that these will be good talking points, political points, which the BJP hopes to exploit to the fullest position. And the Congress, on the other hand, is looking at other issues, hoping that that will put the BJP on the defensive.
Mr. Iyer, taking a cue from what you just mentioned about the partition of the song, about traditional voters and polarization. Now, when political leaders invoke such historical comparisons, such as the reference to New Muslim League, how does this rhetoric really impact the depth of policy debate versus identity-based polarization?
Well, this has been going on. We have seen it for a long time. And the political parties, no matter whether it is BJP or the Congress, we saw last time the Congress made the Lok Sabha elections. They made an issue of how the OBCs are being sidelined, how the BJP is out to completely amend the constitution, to end the reservation for Dalits. Those were equally far from the truth of the BJP's agenda. So therefore, I think political parties will continue to do it. As far as I think, apart from we journalists, nobody seems to be worried to what is happening to the quality of political debate and actual issues that need to be addressed. But at the same time, Kanishka, I do not understand. I mean, the whole thing happened because of that video we got to see where Sonia Gandhi appeared to be very upset when the Vande Mataram was being rendered. Then we were told it was a full rendering, which the Sonia Gandhi or the other Congress leaders did not approve of. So which gave a handle to the BJP. Subsequent to that, Kharge has been attending several meetings where only the two stanzas have been sung.
Right. And Mr. Iyer, the point that you touched upon earlier about elections and other things happening, how do you see the timing of this debate in relation to the broader narrative surrounding cultural nationalism and electoral dynamics also in the country, something that you were highlighting earlier? Could you elaborate a little bit over there?
Uttar Pradesh elections will be held along with 4 other states are going to be held early next year. And these elections are considered a mini Lok Sabha election because there are more than 400 seats that will go. And Uttar Pradesh has 80 Lok Sabha seats. So therefore, these elections are going to see a repeat or a rerun of the campaign heat of the last Lok Sabha elections. So, we are going to see this. That is why the parties are looking for issues to corner the BJP, particularly the performance of Modi government at the center. On the other hand, the Prime Minister, we saw yesterday, telling his ministers to visit their constituencies to highlight those issues which the opponents of the BJP have now taken up, particularly the quality of not just the higher education, but also primary education, condition of our schools. We have already seen protests by school pupils, who are complaining about the way their classrooms are, the condition of their... I mean, these could be isolated incidents. But at the same time, this is also an issue which is bothering the people at large. So you can see how parties are preparing for what could be their, the soft belly, at the same time, what could be their strong points.
Right. So very significant timing of this row. But Mr. Iyer, the government in February, like we were discussing earlier, it did make it compulsory to sing full Vande Mataram at public gatherings and official events. Now, against this backdrop, basis what you've seen over the span of your career, what could be the legal implications and enforcement mechanism of such parliamentary acts?
No, well, the law says if you insult, singing whether the national anthem or the national song, you invite the law. I mean, you invite provisions of the law. I think more than legal, Kanishka, I think it will be more a political messaging that we will see. Because honestly, I don't see, a big protest at Vande Mataram being sung in full. But the parties take positions thinking that this positioning is what will please our voters. I mean, that applies to both the major political formations. So I think, this need not be, taken to this level. But then the Congress party realizes that its core vote or its main support base includes minorities, particularly Muslims, and it feels it is addressing their sentiments because earlier they had objected to those portions of Vande Mataram which they said was amounting to idol worship, which their religion forbids.
Okay. Mr. Iyer, Congress argues that they're simply keeping up a multi-decade practice that was followed by past governments by singing the version of Vande Mataram that Nehru and Gandhi earlier sang. But now this has come while, police complaints have been filed against Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. So from your perspective, we've already spoken about the differences and the voter issue, the elections. How does one really balance historical political custom and new legal mandates when it comes to such national symbols?
No, these are not just new legal mandates. This is an enforcement of a political mandate because BJP had always talked about this for a long time. The point is, they have been making it an issue out of this in all their campaigns, right from even earlier also in 2014, because I remember in most of their national executive and council, the entire rendering of Vande Mataram was always done, as far as I remember. So, but in Parliament, when Vande Mataram was introduced in Parliament, every session ends with the rendering of the Vande Mataram. Even this time it happened, and this time it was in full. And Congress leaders too stood up in respect of the full rendering of the song. I mean, where it is official, the Congress party also does not, Congress leaders don't protest. But the whole thing has now, reached such a level of, discussion and debate. Because of that event in the Congress office, where we saw on the Independence Day, we saw this issue where Sonia Gandhi appeared visibly upset. Of course, Congress explained it away by saying that Sonia was more worried about, Kharge standing for a long time, and she was, wanting to get a chair for him. But for all of us who saw the video and subsequently even what the Congress managers of the event said, no, it was about that, but then we have always rendered it. I mean, within the Congress party also, there was no big objection to the whole song being rendered till Sonia pointed it out.
But now what happens to the police complaint that has been filed? We have discussed what happened on the Independence Day. We have seen the videos. But now a police complaint has been filed. Where do you think this could go forward from here?
Well, I think it will, to the extent there will be some kind of an investigation. And whether, it will move to such a point where maybe notices could be served, by the police investigating this case. And after the replies are received, maybe as a token example of how the government is serious about enforcing Vande Mataram, I mean, there could be some action in the court. But it'll be a long-drawn affair. But by then, the parties will get busy with elections. Not just in Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, but also in Punjab, in Goa and Manipur.
Correct. Right. Thank you, Mr. Iyer, for joining me on the broadcast today. We'll, of course, continue tracking how the developments unfold in this particular matter and keep getting back with you to discuss it further. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.